All right, I'm back in. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Anna.
It's so lovely to see you. I'm really very curious to find out what Mother's Ruin is all about. Go dive straight into that because that's yeah, we just put it up a minute ago, didn't we? So
Yeah, that's
just
great.
let's just start. Tell us all about that. I'm really
Oh my
excited
goodness.
about it.
It's really exciting. So I'm what's called a North supported artist with Northern Stage for a year. And part of that support is they help us to make our own show and take it out of the region and down to London. So it's coming to the Park Theatre as part of a festival called Come What May. Um, so I'm super, I know you have to move out of the way because it's called Mother's Ruin.
Well,
Oh yeah, so there's the Northern Stage little logo at the bottom, and no, come back. And it's Arts Council supported as well. So there's loads of support and goodwill, which is great. And it's just really about like people just like I think it sounds. I think I need to work on the spiel because it's really fun and it's really engaging and interactive and it's got loads of live music at the piano and there's lots about cats and wine, but it's also about like having a little explore people's relationships with their mums and trying to sort of look at how to not carry all that guilt that everybody seems to carry and the cycle that seems to go around of mums making mistakes and feeling guilty and then children feeling guilty and which I think I need to work on that because even when I say it, I think, God, that I wouldn't go and see that. It sounds quite boring. But the show
no, it
itself is
doesn't.
really fun.
Not at all. I think it sounds brilliant. So, did you
Oh,
compose this idea for the show? Yeah,
yeah.
and was this a spin-off from? Well, not it's not much more than spin-off. It's obviously yeah, it's going to be in and of itself, and as you said, support by the Arts Council. Isn't that fantastic? Must be really exciting. Is this come through? Has it been a natural progression to do this following the cabaret that you were doing? Have you been doing the cabaret? You were doing online streaming for was it the last couple of years or through the whole of COVID? So tell us more about
Pretty much
that.
Pretty much through the whole of COVID. So we started with Philo as well, who plays Maurice. We started this we just one Sunday afternoon. We thought was, and then yeah, we went all the way through COVID doing an online cabaret, which was like so much fun, and we had loads of great audience members like interacting with us and joining in, which was brilliant. But before that had happened, before lockdown, I'd got this brilliant offer from Northern Stage to be a North supported artist for a year to make a show, but then it just got put on
Oh,
hold for two
oh, I
years because of lockdown.
see. Right.
So it's developed, I think, because I think pre-lockdown it wouldn't have been quite so cabaret style. It would maybe have been a little bit more serious. I think I was kind of making something, and I think I saw myself as a really serious artist. And then actually, I've come out of the pandemic going, oh, I really like being a cabaret artist, and I've got a much bigger audience, so I think people like me more as a cabaret artist, and there's something working there. So I've kind of woven that into the show. So yeah, so it's still about motherhood and exploring your relationship with your mum. Lots about cats, lots about drinking wine, and celebrating
So
and having.
yeah, is that much quite a big part of your experience? I mean, yeah, because obviously it's a huge tribute to your mum and so and you said it's motherhood, so it's not just and also your own experience of being a mum as well. So has that contributed to the writing of the? Did you write a script? So was it? So it's a cabaret show that's on motherhood.
Yeah, yes, it's like in the style of a cabaret. So that kind of means that there's a lot of direct audience address as well as bits that are acted with maybe a fourth wall. But there's a lot of chatting to the audience, knowing that you're performing to an audience. There's a lot less imagining that you've created a world that you might create in a more normal theatre show. And the music, I play all the music and sing. And hopefully people will find the songs quite funny. So yes, it's in like a cabaret style, but yeah, definitely my own experiences have shaped it, and also now the fact that my children have said they're going to come and see it is is making me like just tweak little bits and think, and I think that's a really good thing because I think it needs to be something that I'd be proud for them to see. But no, I didn't really write a script. I devised it with a brilliant dramaturg called Rachel Walsh, which means that we spent a week together and just, I'm not quite sure how she did it, but through her brilliant exercises and knowledge and just pulling things out, we spent a week sort of creating and being busy. And by the end, we had a draft, but mostly from improvising and exercises that we did together. And then
Oh,
I've
that
got an
sounds
incredible It's so fun.
It
It's
sounds
wonderful.
fascinating. So
Yeah.
your background is it's a musical theatre, Jenny. Tell us about your background because I know you from Newcastle, so we've never really had that chat. And then I
I
did
know.
see you and then I saw you playing. It just looked like so much fun what you were doing over lockdown, and it was so popular as well. I'm not surprised. What is it? Has it come from that? Is it musical theatre?
It's kind of musical theatre. I did go. I've done loads of performing as an actor and as a musician. Mostly in like actor musician shows, so where you're kind of playing instruments as part of the show. And also, yeah, some musicals and some touring. But then since I've been in Newcastle, I've done so much teaching that I've really enjoyed accompanying people, which is where the idea of the first cabaret
Oh, I
came.
see.
So before lockdown, I would host cabaret nights, but I would just play the piano and host them and bring in other singers. And it was only because it was a lockdown that we couldn't have any other singers in the building. So I did it all myself, and that's why I brought in Phil, because I thought it's nicer to have someone else on stage with you as well. But then I know we talked about doing a cabaret one day, which we'll still have to do.
We did, yeah. We will absolutely have to do that. I was
Yeah.
doing quite a lot of some jazz shows last year, and I mean, I've been focusing a little bit more on doing some Duran stuff and whatever. But you know, as a musician, we embrace different styles, and I was loving it. It's such good fun. So you're saying that you were accompanying, but you sound gorgeous. So singing was something that you did. Well, no, your vocals sound wonderful. So, and also there's quite a lot from what the one that I did see. There was quite a lot of there'll probably be wit and humor in this as well, and it was sourced with that, wasn't it? You kind of there's a lot of that in there, but so is it a one woman show, or you said Phil is in it as
Yeah, it's a one woman show. Yeah, so Maurice was in the online cabarets. This is a one woman show. So yeah, it is hopefully a similar vibe to the cabaret. So I will talk directly to the audience. I will be playing some characters. I've composed all the
oh, are
songs myself.
you? Did you?
Yeah, and I'll be playing them at
Oh
the
my.
piano. Uh, so yeah, it's got. I hope that it's got like a really. It's really got heart, I think, and it is really a human story, and human stories. But I hope that also it's fun and it's silly and it's engaging and it's entertaining, as well as hopefully it will touch people and be a sort of warming
Oh, I'm really
experience.
looking forward I'm going to come and see it. What's the date again? I won't move out, but I'm going to come and yeah. Is it May? It's in May, isn't
It's
it?
Yeah, it's at the Park Theatre in Finsbury Park.
Right.
Um, May the 20th at the very civilized time of 8:30 p.m. Friday night, and then May the 21st it's on at 10 p.m. So it's got the late slot, which will be probably slightly more of a riot.
Oh,
When
fantastic.
we go
So,
back.
what can you tell us about the songwriting? I didn't know. I mean, I knew that you're a brilliant musician anyway, but I wasn't. I didn't realise that you've composed all the songs. That's fantastic. Can you kind of tell us without giving any spoilers, or how was the process of that? Was that yeah? It's difficult to ask because I don't want. I know it's a fine line between that and then just telling us, giving it all
No, it's
away.
great. It's great. So I've just used a lot, I did a lot of research into it. I've read a lot of books. Save the Cat has been like my kind of real go-to book about the structure of things, and also How Musicals Work by Julian Wolford, and just watching tons of musicals. So I've tried to sort of, while it's in a cabaret style, I've tried to space the songs out as you might find them in a quite a traditional musical. So
Oh,
there's like
interesting.
opening number, and then there's well, that's just me. And then
No,
there's
it's
sort
still,
of
it's still the opening number. Are you doing the can can or something as you walk to
yeah.
the?
And then there's a big I want number, like where the character's kind of wishing for something. And there's a bit in it where there's a journey song. Obviously, there's a big ending. So I've tried to kind of put in. Yeah, I've gone for like a sort of yeah, I tried to go for a bit of a traditional structure, so that it sort of makes sense as well to the audience. But the songwriting has been really fun because I did it kind of with Rachel, the dramaturg, and she would just throw things at me. So she'd say, right, sit at the piano, and I want you to sing a song about, and she'd pick a subject. About housework, and I want you to do it in the style of a
Of
and
who?
then she just say like a patter song, like a character that talks
All
really
right.
fast, and is very silly. So
Yeah.
then I'd have to do this sort of like, we're mopping, drying, scrubbing, cleaning, washing all the windows. And then it doesn't necessarily make it to the last piece, but we generated so much material. And then we've got a real torch song to the empty gin bottle, like absolute.
Oh,
Okay.
it sounds fantastic, and it's in what you said, that the fact that you'd researched musicals. Now when you say that, of course, musicals they do have what you said, like a journey song, a torch song, probably an opening number. Have I missed any out? I'm very curious now to kind of think about all the what are the other genre specific, well, the themes that are components. I suppose, like when someone talks about fiction's got to have like an unexpected event. It's got to have, I mean, I'm not going to talk about that because I don't know what the
Yeah,
others are.
yeah,
I'll speak to
yeah.
a writer. But are there any others in there that are components of a musical, just for those that don't know, including myself? Because you kind of take it for granted, and then when you're saying it, I'm thinking, oh my
Yeah,
goodness, that's
yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, well, it started because I was reading this book, Save the Cat, which, if you've ever tried to write a script, is like an incredible book because it's sort of, it gives you the structure and then it compares it. It kind of puts tons of films that you know really well on top of the structure, and you go, oh yeah, within 3 seconds, someone saved a cat, so then you like them no matter what they go on to do. So if they're the protagonist and they're a murderer, you're on their side. And then, this much in, there's got to be a call to adventure. So I kind of did the same with the show. So it was like
Oh,
setting
such
up
a
the
fabulous.
world.
Yes.
It's so interesting. It's brilliant. So I've got this song sort of setting up the world, like the opening number, and then so something like yes, the big opening number, then setting up the world, so something like Skid Row. So,
Yes.
if you know Little Shop of Horrors, so you would really know, okay, exactly where this show is now set because you've
Hmm.
told us everything about Skid Row. And then sort of like some character songs, kind of getting to know the characters. Then you've got this kind of call to adventure, and then often there's like the failure to make the call and the absolute doom, and you think there's no point of return, and so there's this huge sort of ballad or an I want song or the 11 o'clock number, like this sort of like, it's all
In the
disastrous.
11th hour, it's not going to happen. What? Oh, yes, it's all gone
Yeah,
tragically wrong. Oh, and then,
yeah,
well,
and
I
then
don't know,
you've got
or maybe not actually. I hope so.
yeah, yeah, so you've got kind of like, we're off to meet the wizard, and it's, oh, we're going on our adventure or whatever it is. And then yeah, and then the bit where it hasn't really worked out, and so it's very sad. And then the bit where just at the last minute, yeah, like you say, oh, there's this way this could work. And then there's always the journey back. So even if you're thinking of like the Wizard of Oz, like there's the journey back, they've got to get home. Um, so they're kind of like in the resolve and kind of bringing in like all the characters motifs that we've heard along the way, kind of bringing them all together uh at the end.
Absolutely fascinating. And I'm just thinking, how on earth did that go together with motherhood? How did you manage to? Well, I mean, we'll have to come and see, have to come and find out.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do
yeah.
think, I mean, I suppose when anybody writes anything, whether it's which is based on their own life experience, did you? I mean, you said you tweaked a little bit because of your kids. Did you find, were there, maybe without necessarily saying, but what were the areas that were you surprised by? Some of the areas, what came up for you when you were doing it around your own mother?
Yeah, yeah, and it was great because it's not a sort of it's a real celebration and going about how we all make mistakes and that should just be fine and we should, shake them off. It should do what we like. There's no should about it. But yeah, certainly like thinking about my relationship with my own mum and then talking to lots of other mothers locally, and the things that people felt sort of so guilty about were the things that are so, like a messy house or not being able to get them to all the right extracurricular clubs, or seeing people's children on social media looking happy and thinking, oh, why are my kids so like seem to hate me, and all this sort of like
Oh,
it
I
was
saw
just
that. I saw that lovely one of when you were all learning to, was it not tricycle? When you were up on the, that was fabulous. I mean, I was totally hooked on that. I think, were you doing that over lockdown for several? Yeah, I mean, that was a welcome change to whatever boring work admin I was doing. But it was. But I thought, I was quite amazed. I thought, of all the things to be doing over lockdown, that wouldn't have been my go-to. But isn't that fantastic? And then there was lots
yeah,
of cackles of laughter when they fell off as well, which
yeah,
was brilliant.
yeah, it was unicycling.
Oh,
We
unicycling,
decided
that's right, yeah.
we decided to learn to unicycle over lockdown, which was very, very joyful. Yeah, so it's more about, and that was just such a silly thing to do, but really fun. And I think the show is just about kind of, and I think at the heart of it is just really like the ultimate message of just live for the moment, isn't it? So, my own mum died, as you know, and it's kind of, she lived a really joyful life. And so I think that really that lockdown was kind of like, for us, in a way, a lot of it really was a gift, because we were
Yes.
so lucky that we had a little back garden. It was very sunny. We had a couple of unicycles. Didn't really need much else. And I'd been working like crazy for the previous few years and hadn't
Yes.
spent any time with them, and just was there to argue about getting them into bed, complaining about the laundry, complaining about the mess, worrying about work. And then suddenly this gift of like, actually, all that matters really is just being together. And so that's, I think, kind of what's at the heart of the show. And it's not telling people what to do, but it's just saying, it's kind of hopefully just helping people allow themselves to just be, and to, it is so hard to think, oh, if someone pops around and the house is a mess, they can't possibly come in, but actually that'd be really nice.
Go away. A friend of mine who shall remain nameless, I remember that somebody arrived and they did actually tell them to go away for half an hour because they were still vacuuming.
Yeah.
He said, no, you can't come in, I haven't vacuumed yet. And they had to actually walk around the block until they were ready, which was just quite funny, really, because I don't think the person would have minded in the slightest. But yeah, you can be house proud. But you've had, I'm just trying to think, yes, on the, you were doing the I lost my train of thought then. I was just on that tip, I was thinking about what I was going to ask you. But on that, I know that you did the cabarets. Was it like once a week and it was streamed? But before that, did you say you were doing a lot of teaching? So do you still teach in schools?
Yeah, I do. That stopped for a long time because of lockdown, but I do a little bits of teaching locally, which is lovely. I teach some Lambda classes and some musical theatre classes, which is really great. So some of my pupils had their musical theatre exams this morning, so fingers crossed they did really well.
So when you say Lambda, so what's that? Is that, what age group is that, and what's that for?
Oh, that's at the high school, so that's like secondary school, like 11 upwards. And Lambda is it's London.
I've heard of Lambda, but I just didn't know what it stood for.
So it's acting lessons leading towards like a little group acting exam performance. It's lovely. It's a real joy, because the kids, I work with them in groups of 4. So we just do brilliant. They are wonderful 11-year-olds. They're so free and liberated. We do tons of improvising, which they just absolutely love. And I'm really lucky because it's not a class of 30 that I'm trying to manage.
So what it's about? So it's groups of what? About, did you say 4? No,
groups of 4. So we're going to the school and they come out of a lesson every week for 45 minutes, and I have them in groups of 4. And it's really about confidence building. It's kind of like what's at the heart of my show, really. It's just all about these like human connections. So it's just about, they do exams in acting as they go through them, but really they just learn to, because it's improvising, what's beautiful about it is they learn to make the other people in the scene look good. So it's a really nice kind of approach to life. I've been trained so brilliantly by Bev and Ian of the Suggestibles up here that's I kind of teaching.
So is the exam an improvisation?
No, it's not. So
I was just thinking that would be like, that'd be really unpredictable.
Yeah.
You could maybe get an A star or a Z.
Yeah.
Awful, yeah.
Yeah, no, so the lessons are like really improvised based, just to get them like working well with each other, thinking about making each other look good, giving each other offers, accepting things, a lovely ethos of yes and how can I help. And then when they come to do the scenes, they're so comfortable working with each other, and it's kind of nice ethos. So on the exam day, if one of them forgets their lines, rather than everybody just standing and waiting for them and going, you ruined it, how can they save them, how can they help them? So it's this really nice kind of, it's just, and I think it's nice because they come out of a big class of 30 and just work as a group of 4 once a week, and so it's a bit of calm as well in like a busy high school.
Yeah, and so obviously with that acting background, then do you bring that into you're at the piano, so do you get up at all then? It's a one-woman show. Are you doing, all right, so you're doing quite a bit of acting as well. I'm sorry, it sounds really, really obvious, but I think that's because I've got you doing your cabaret in mind, so I remember that being at the piano. All right, so this is a whole, oh my good Lord, this is going to be fantastic. It must be just really, really exciting. And
So it's kind of, I'm at the piano. I do my songs at the piano, and then I'm up and talking to the audience. There's direct audience address. There's some scenes that I'm acting out. There's some stories that I'm telling. Then there's some songs that I'm playing, and it's all sort of in this like aspects of motherhood, themes of motherhood.
Yeah, and how on earth have you had time to? Well, I say that, but then also that sounds a bit, because people make you make time to do the stuff that you want, but it sounds like you've got, because I can't remember how old your kids are, but you've got your kids, you teach, and then you're doing that as well. So it must be from a kind of, this group is for independent creatives, and I do, some people, well, there's a lot of people that I've interviewed that are as talented like you are, and it is juggling a few different things, isn't it? How do you find that? How do you find doing those three things, or was it just kind of water off a duck's back and you just kind of thought, oh, I'll make time and it happens?
You know what? I'm really lucky because I love all those three things very much. Here comes one now.
Exactly. Hello.
So I'm extremely lucky, and also I don't get to make shows full time. So this chance to work with Northern Stage this year has been such a brilliant gift, and because I know it's got like an end date, it hasn't been a drag, I've got to make a show and then do these. It's been like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited, I'm making a show. And I've learned so much about marketing and producing, and met so many people and also Northern Stage are so supportive and helpful every step of the way. Like, they've helped us.
So you said you've learned a lot about, you've had to learn learning the marketing and the producing side of things. So has that been all you then? Have you been, how's that, or you've been working in alliance with them. What have you been doing around the marketing side? It sounds a little bit more dry, but for the group, there's a lot of people that are doing things independently. So I do think it could be interesting for people listening.
Yeah, the marketing's been great. Like, we've had a lot of support on how to do things that you don't have to pay for. So just really using your social media, like taking a day at the start of the month to schedule a post to go out every day, so you don't have to worry about it. And another thing that was really interesting that I don't know if is helpful is thinking about different types of content. So content for people who know you really well. So if you just comment, that will understand any reference you make because they know your work. And then also think about content for people who might have just discovered you, so that it makes sense, otherwise they'll just scroll past. And then also think about content that is advertising your show, but is nicely divided with lovely other things for them to look at, rehearsal pictures, footage, so they get an idea of what they're going to come and see. So you're kind of building up this big picture. So that's been really helpful. And then also, because I've got this support behind me, and I wouldn't have this normally, but because I've got the support of the venue, I am using two companies called What's on Stage and Run Riot, who have a really big mailing list and Twitter and stuff. So I think because I don't live in London, like, I have zero London audience. So the thought of I've got 2 nights in a 90-seater theatre, so marketing's had to be a really big part of it, because, and I don't mind if I'm just playing to one person, like, it's never bothered me, I never, when I was acting in shows, would ask, oh, how many are in this afternoon, because it doesn't matter to me how many are in, do the same show, because that one person's just come to see it, they've come to see the show, but it would be nice if we're going all the way to London.
I don't know what that noise is. Something's pinged then. All right, so it's 90 seats. So you've got these two. There's some marketing happening through. Did you say Northern Was it called Northern Alliance?
What's on Stage and Run Riot.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But it's not Northern Arts. Who have you signed? Who have you got on board that's funded it? It's Northern.
Oh, Northern Stage.
Northern Stage, right? Yeah.
The theatre that used to be called Newcastle Playhouse.
Right, okay, yes, I remember that from a while back.
Yeah.
So 290 seats. Well, I'll certainly be coming. I'm going to bring a few people along as well, and I really look forward to it. And then from that, we don't know. Just kind of see how that one goes, and just it's all kind of focused on getting ready for that. Yeah. What other stuff? So I know that because we did speak about doing a cabaret, but you do put them on, don't you? You still do those live as well. Apart from I know your focus is all on this, and I'm not surprised because it sounds like there's been a lot to prepare, and it just sounds so. I didn't realise it was all. I only just found out anyway, but I didn't realize it's going to be like the full encompassing one woman show. But what else do you think you're going to be doing around that? You probably see how that goes, but because you do cabaret, don't you? You do jazz venues as well, jazz nights.
Yeah. So, this show's it's playing at Northern Stage, Newcastle Playhouse, on the 16th September. And then we're hoping to do a spring tour of like Northeast regional theatres. But yeah, other than that, I play quite a lot of jazz nights. I'm playing for I was in a show recently up in Hexham called The Monocle, which was a really lovely dance jazz piece, and I sang a few songs in that. And I play for quite a few jazz singers locally. Oh, I'd love to play for you though. That would be
Well, it was
dream
fun,
come
but yeah, we definitely have to do something. Definitely, well, we will. We definitely will. We just haven't
yeah,
yet.
yeah,
We
yeah,
just haven't
yeah,
yet. So
yeah.
really, really look forward. Anybody that's watching this interview, go tell everyone. Not although it sounds like all the marketing's sorted out, and so
Oh,
it might be
no, it's
very
really
might
not.
be it might be very difficult to get a ticket. And I just want to say, yeah, congratulations. I'm buzzing about it. I just think it's going to be fantastic. And now that you've spoken about the craft and doing that, all that kind of research around musicals and the musical theatre, that's just like added all the interest. It's just gonna be fantastic. Jenny, thanks so much. I've just
Oh,
been wanting to chat, and I've had a glass of wine that I've just been too busy wanting to chat. So it must have been very, very interesting because
brilliant,
for someone that's
brilliant.
very tempted to drink the wine, I haven't touched a drop. So thank you so much, Jenny, and I look
That's a
forward to it. May the
pleasure.
20, let's say May the what you said, the 21st. May the
20th and
21st,
21st.
20th and 21st at the Park Theatre. So for all you independent creators on this group that are in London, or even if you're not, come and see it. All right, and lovely, really, really lovely speaking to you. And
You
I'll see you
too.
then.
Yes, can't wait. We'll have a glass of wine afterwards.
We will. All right. Lots of love
Bye,
to
Anna.
you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.